Guys, I noticed that installation of this quick shifter was really poor on all the videos I've seen. So I'm going to make one that's a little more elaborate that will help people out. First thing off is you want to remove the plastic pieces, of course, on the left and right. Removed all the plastics. Second is to get in here easier, there's a bracket here on the outside. It's 2 bolts, one up here and one down there, 10 millimeter. I removed that bracket. By removing that, you can get in there a lot easier to the injector, not injector. I'm having a brain fart. Oh my gosh. To get in here. It's easier to get in here. So then I can go ahead and pull this out. So then you can pull that out, separate this here, and then we'll go on to the next 3 actually. All right, next, there's this little tube right here that comes down from the top. Just go ahead and pull that down and out of the way. The idea is to get in there, be able to get in there easier. And you get the next one way back there. And ignition coil, that's the brain part I was having. Okay, you got another one back there. Can't really see it back there. And I just unplugged that one over here. So that takes care of that side. That's these two. Next, we have whatever this doohickey is here. We're going to remove these bolts to be able to get in the injector coils back here. So take these 2 bolts off. And as you see, once you get this off, unplug this, push this aside, and now you can easily get to those 2 coils right there. Actually easier than the other side. Next, you're going to want to go ahead and clip these in place. And it's pretty obvious how they work. You plug this one into the ignition coil, and you plug this into what goes into the ignition coil. And basically what you're doing is you're just bypassing. So of course you want to pick the one wire that's all together like this, and it makes it obvious what you're bypassing. So this would go into the ignition coil. This will go into what goes into the ignition coil. And you're just basically bypassing each one. I don't know if it matters, but I ended up, I read somewhere that the one is colored red, and I did that on this first ignition coil here. Don't think it really matters, but someone mentioned that, so I'm doing that. And then from then on out, you go 1, 2 across, and then these next 2. Again, the order really doesn't matter, but I'm going to go ahead and feed that through to the other side and then connect the other 2 ignition coils. So this side is a lot easier to get into, which is nice. And then we'll go ahead and put this back up into place. And your little ground right here, a really good spot for that is right here. Just use this right by the air intake. Just use that bolt right there. All right, so the next step is we want to remove this shift lever. Now I took this clutch cover off. You don't need to, or excuse me, chain cover. The clutch is on the other side. I took this chain cover off because I'm going to be replacing this front sprocket. I went down 1 tooth on the front, which I loved on my 14. On the 14R, it makes a bike act really weird. My bike act's just real jerky. I think it's due to the traction control. So I'm going back to stock on it. I didn't notice much of a change in performance accelerating, and the bike act's really weird. So I'm going back to stock, so I have that off for that reason. But it makes it easier to go in here. And what you need to make sure you do before you take this shifter off, let's go ahead and mark it so that you have it in the same position you had it before or wherever you liked it. Honestly, you don't really need to take it off. You can just take the screw off. So that's fine too. You don't technically need to take that off. And now, using the bolt that they provided, which is a little bit longer, I went ahead and installed underneath there. You can see the sensor right to the end of the shift lever there. Now what I'm going to do is this wire up here, I'm going to zip tie that to that right there so it's out of the way, and then going to run it up here until it's out of the way. So honestly, it's that easy. You just, I zip tied it down here, ran it behind here, brought it up to around here, and right up here is where everything kind of comes together. And we have our quick shifter, which we just plug everything into this. And I'll probably put it somewhere, probably right up in here. You know, Velcro it to somewhere right in there, somewhere out of the way. You know, it could go anywhere up in this area. I'll find a spot for it. And I just stick it right there. And yeah, nice and easy. And you don't have to worry about routing it all the way to the back unless you want to. This, I think, is going to be the easiest way to go. And then, of course, put everything back together. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys. I know it would have been helpful to me because I didn't really see anything real specific that would help to install anything. Make sure when you're installing that sensor on the bottom that you hold that sensor from rotating, which you have to do while you're tightening that down. Don't tighten it too much, just nice and snug. And that's it.